Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Conan Exiles custom map tutorial. This is tutorial video 20, I believe it is. And today what we're going to cover is NPCs. I figured I'd go ahead and start that, and we'll get that knocked out. That way everybody knows how to place their NPCs, kind of set up some areas, and then what we'll do for probably the next tutorial is go ahead how to show you how to set it up so you can actually load your map if you don't know how to put your map on your server or play it in single player. We'll go ahead and go through that step, just that way you know how to configure your mod to load on your server or your single player game. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get into placing NPCs, and a little bit's changed but not too much, so we'll go ahead and we'll get into it. Go ahead and we'll swap over my main display. Alright, here we are. Now the first thing is we're going to have to do is, if we go to Windows levels, I don't have any wildlife levels, so I'm going to have to make a wildlife level or a sub level. Okay, and I did kind of go over these before, but there is also another quick easy little way to do these too, so they're not so complicated going through the the map hierarchy through here. Okay, this is one way you can assign the sublevels, or you can do it in a drag and drop fashion. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. But first off, let's go ahead and we'll go up to File. We're going to go to New Level, and we're going to go Empty Level. And you can either save your maps if you need to. If you don't, go ahead and don't. I'm not going to save mine because I don't need to. All right, so we got an empty blank level. There's nothing in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File again. I'm going to save current as. And what I want to do is navigate to my mods folder, the Bratchet Isles, and I want to go to the maps folder, which is the height map folder. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to name this wildlife. And I'm just going to do one that's going to be 1-0. Or _0. Okay. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create another one once this finalizes. I'm going to create one for 1-1 as well. And you can make all your sublevels if you want to now, or you can do them as you build and progress as you need them. I recommend you build them as you need them. That way you don't have too many sublevels sitting in your folder and you're wondering, hey, what was I going to use this map level for, or you forget to name it in a naming convention that you need. Alright, now this is going to take just a little bit. In the actual Unreal Engine it's a lot quicker, but for this dev kit's a little bit slower. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create another one here. File, save current as. And I'm just going to go 1-1. And it's going to do the same thing, but it should be quicker because we're using the same empty space. Okay. Alright, so now we should have two levels like that. So go to our content folder, open up your persistent level. Once we get that loaded, alright, we are loaded. Awesome. Alright, so our persistent level, I'm going to open up my 1-0 and 1-1. But also, if you look in your list, you're going to see where my wildlife 1-0 is and my 1-1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag wildlife 1-1-1. So what you can do is you can actually, believe it or not, take and hold your left mouse button down, go up, and I want to put this under sublevel of 1-0 and drag and drop, and it will immediately assign it to that level. It's the easier way than from the old hierarchy. The hierarchy used to be the way you had to do it. Then they created a drag and drop function. So now we got 1-1's assigned and 1-0's assigned. Alright. And go ahead and save those. That way it assigns it and saves what you did with it. Alright, wildlife 1-0, and I want to make sure I'm in the correct area. Let me see. There we go. That's 1, 0. All right. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and head over here and slow my camera down. All right, so we got my little island here, and obviously there's the big island. So I'm not going to do anything too crazy for as far as creatures are concerned, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to assign our NPCs. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to go to our content folder here. All right. And we are going to search for NPC and then TERR for territory. Okay, and look for TERR, and you're going to see NPC territory spawner. So we're going to need one of these, so you drag it out on the screen. Okay, and you can bring that up. Now you notice it's got the little white hazy box around it. Okay, that's normal. What we want to do is you can scale this. All right, drag that little white box out, and this doesn't have an extents box. This is just a scale box, so we can actually scale this. And what you want to do is scale this, okay, like so. And then what you can do is you can color code these. All right. So the white could be your human characters, or you could make it to where it's your quest characters, or you give it a differentiating color. So what we can do is on the color here in the details panel, you just hit the drop down. I'm going to change it to red. I mean, you can change it to blue. So you got some different colors if you need to assign a specific color to remind you what you place there or what type of NPC you're having spawn there. I'm going to go ahead and just hit red. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and let's go green. I'm going to use green. Green for my crocodiles, my animals. Now, for like my scary monsters, we can use red, like our skeletons, etc. All right, so we have this. So we have the NPC territory spawner. Now what we got to do is we got to type, you're going to type camp, as in camping, owner. All right, and you're going to see this blueprint. You're going to drag that out as well. And you bring that up, and what that is like a fire pit, okay? Like so. And I'm just going to put it above it. It's a good practice to put it above it and not below it, just so you can access this later if you need to make like a copy. Okay, so we have that. Now we need one more piece to this puzzle, and we need the manual spawn point. So MANUAL, type manual, and you're going to look for manual spawn point, not the waypoint, but the manual spawn point, which is this one here. Okay, so not the interaction, not the eye, but the actual little white ball here, the actor, blueprint class, manual spawn point. And what you're going to do is you're going to drag that out, and you're going to bring that up here, or you're not going to bring it up here, sorry. You're going to put this down here, and now what you want to do is make sure when you put your manual spawn points out, because this spawn point is going to be where one creature, critter, whatever you assign to it is going to spawn. Now, we still have a little bit more here to set up. So what we want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to name these. Now, I've gotten into a habit of copy pasting and paste them all over, but I'm going to teach you the correct method, and me not being lazy snow hunter, because sometimes I'm lazy about it. But what we want to do is we want to go and view in current level only, obviously. So we have our territory spawner, our camp owner, and our spawn point. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to name these. So the reason why we want to name these is if you do have an issue or an error, you want to be able to track it down in the log, and you need to know the spawner, and you will see it in the log. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit underscore here, and I'm going to call this crocodile, or croc. We'll do croc A. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take croc A and the underscore, copy that part. I'm going to go to the camp owner and paste that too. So it's got camp owner croc A, territory spawner croc A, and spawn point. Control V, paste it there, croc A. Okay. Now what we can do is we can duplicate this manual spawn point, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait, because I'm going to put about probably about 4 crocodiles on this island. Okay, but before I do that, what I want to do is I want to connect all this so that all this talks to each other. So in our manual to NPC territory spawn point, you're going to click on this. You're going to scroll down here to where you see camp. It's going to say camp. What you're going to do is you're going to either take the eyedropper, okay, the little eyedropper, and you can click the little campfire ball or the campfire here, or what you can do is just hit the drop down and look for the campfire. Okay. Now, the easier way to do it without having to go through a list, like you can see over here in the details panel, there's quite a list. The simple way is either you type camp to narrow that down, right? This is the croc one, or you can use the eyedropper. I'm just going to go ahead and use the eyedropper. It's quicker. Okay. And also what we want to do too is on the manual spawn point, if you notice in the details panel, you're going to see the camp owner self. In blue, you're going to see the billboard. You're going to see the camp component. Now, if you look at the camp component here, you're going to see camp actors and a camp layer. We're not going to mess with the camp layer, but we're going to do camp actors. Now, I'm going to put 4 entries here, and I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to take the eyedropper, and I'm going to click it on the manual spawn point. So now we got manual spawn point croc A. Okay. Now, what we can do, like I said, we can duplicate this, but I'm going to wait because we need to assign on this spawn point our wildlife options. So you see wildlife options here. I'm going to hit the plus sign and add an entry, which is the spawn table. Now, what we need to do is we need to go to the weighted spawn table. So in your content browser, in the filter, we're going to type WEIGHTED, weighted, and you're going to look for the weighted spawn table row in green. And we're going to open that up. And I'm going to type CROC, croc for crocodile. And what we're going to come up with is a list of different crocodiles in the game. Now, I'm not going to put any boss crocodiles in, but what I want to do is I want to put kind of the crocodiles. I'm going to put the mini bosses in here. Okay. So right here is the Surge Crocodile mini boss. What you do is you take the weighted spawn ID, okay, which should be this one here, and we want to place it on our spawn point. And I got to make sure, because what I've noticed is sometimes these, some of these don't work. I noticed for some weird reason on the spawn table. Some of them are not spawning on the spawn point. So now we go to our manual spawn point here. We click on it, and you're going to see spawn table. In that entry where it says none, we're going to erase that, and I'm going to hit Control V and paste what we highlighted, which is the Surge Crocodile mini boss. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit save, so that way it saves everything that we've done. And what I want to quickly do is I want to hit play here to make sure that it does spawn, because I don't want to go ahead and rig up all these manual spawn points and they don't spawn, and then I have to go back through each individual one and fix it. So we're going to go ahead and load in here quickly. Hopefully it don't take too long. Gotta love how it spawns you where you last were, and then has to jump you over. Now, hopefully this will go quickly. Take that long. We've had this map open a couple times. But there's also going to be a dev kit update too that they did, hotfix update. However, can't cook any mods until they release the update in the official game. We have to wait. Alright, here we go. Finally loading in. Okay, I think. Alright, 1 second here. I don't know what happened there, but that's weird. The game obviously did not like what was going on here. So let me go to settings. Okay, and let me check this one more time. Let's see. Okay, I had to kill that for now, and hopefully everything's working with the microphone. All right, so as you can see, we have our crocodile has spawned. A big old surge crocodile. All right. So now we know that's working. Okay. And now what we can do, and I'm just going to go ahead, yeah, that's unmuted. Okay. I really have no idea what happened there. I'm using some Bluetooth speakers. And I can hear my desktop ding. Okay, good. Weird. All right, so now we have our Surge Mini Crocodile boss here. All right, the spawn point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. Control C, Control V to paste it. So now we have another spawn point. And I was going to do 4 of them, I said. Okay, and if you notice up here in the top, notice I got A, A2, A3, A4. Now what I can do is I'm just going to go ahead and quickly name this 1. Alright, that way it's A1, A2, A3, A4. Now in the log books, or sorry, the logbook, I should say in your generated log file, if you have a server issue, it'll generate the name of the spawner or where the spawn point is failing. Say say you do something like this. A good example is your manual spawn point right here. You placed it, but you didn't realize you placed it below the terrain, which is a big no-no. If this happens, what happens is the spawn will spawn, or the creature, whoever it is that you got here, will spawn and fall through the world. The logbook will tell you, hey, spawn point croc A1 failed to spawn correctly. And what it's telling you, basically, it spawned, but what happened is you put it through the world. Okay, so your logbook will give you little identifiers like that so you can fix it. So that way you can track it down in your game on your map and say, oh crap, I gotta go fix that spawn point. It's fallen through the world, or it's got an error. What error is it? And then you can actually go to that spawn point and watch it spawn in the editor and go, okay, it's falling through the world, or it's not spawning at all. I need to fix it. Okay, so we know all 4 of these are working. However, I only have 1 spawn connected, so we have to go back up to our camp owner. All right, so we go up to our camp owner here. So I got it highlighted. If you go to the BP camp component, remember these 4 entries. So now I got to assign each one of these entries a spawn point, but I want to make sure I put in these spawn points A1 through 4, okay, which I have done now. Now the trick is I kind of want to disperse them, and I want to put them on the island. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of scatter them about and make sure that they're in good locations, because you want to make sure that you don't put them inside a tree, because that can happen, believe it or not. I've accidentally done that myself because I didn't pay attention, get down close enough to the terrain to make sure that the spawn point wasn't floating. You don't want it up here either, because your player could be running and all of a sudden it spawns and drops from the sky. So make sure that you have your spawn point close to the ground, but not that close, but high enough to where it's not going to go through the world, but it's going to be here, and it's not going to be floating in the sky and dropping down. And then let's go ahead, and I'm just going to kind of put these out, and I'm going to give you an example of a few crazy things. Also, if you use your transform, you can set the direction of the spawn so they immediately go in that direction when they first start, or they stand. And I'm going to show you some emotes and things like that too. Crocodiles don't have emotes. They just kind of sit there, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of, like I said, disperse these guys, get them on the island, just kind of moving around here. Just kind of, you want to spread your NPCs out. You don't want to group them together too close, because you want your players to kind of encounter them, unless you plan on having them get ambushed. That makes sense. Alright, so when we hit play from here, we should see all of our spawns spawn in. They all should spawn in, which they have, which they're patrolling, and they're moving around. Okay, which is good. And he's aggroing, so he wants to eat me for lunch. And I just want to make sure everybody else here is walking around. Obviously, we can't hear him right now because there's something wrong with my desktop audio. For some reason, Conan does not want to engage on my Bluetooth headset. So, it did not like that for whatever reason. Okay, so here we have it. They are roaming around. We see here. Yeah, there's something wrong with it. It does not like my wireless earpieces. Okay, so the crocodiles are working. They're following us around. Okay, so we're going to escape now. Now, say you want certain critters to stay in a certain place. So, for example, this spawn point, if you look here on your details panel, you have what we have a spot that's called is guard spot. So if you check mark this, and when we hit back in here and we hit play, what you'll notice is he spawns there. He's going to engage us, right? Now, I'm going to hit shift to escape again. Now I'm going to hit play from up here. And go to MN panel. Now I'm going to cloak myself so he can't detect me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down here. And notice how he's stationary. He's not moving. Okay. It's a guard spot. He's going to start moving because he knows we're here, and he's just going to move around, okay? He's set to move around, but the other guy over here, he's set to guard. So he's going to stay stationary. He's not going to roam. And so you can use that as a way to keep AI in a specific area if you need them in a specific area to be a challenging spot, or whatever you need for your theme. They'll stay in position, or for like NPC humans for guards and stuff, etc. Okay. Excuse me. So that's how you do that. Okay. So let me hit shift escape. All right. And the last final step, what we want to do is, okay, so we have our AI here. Now what we can do is we go up here to our details world outliner. Obviously, we have show in current level only. So we have the NPC territory spawner, we have the camp owner, we have the manual spawn points. So what we can do is we can actually go ahead and go to move to a new folder. Okay, and I'm just going to rename this Croc Group 1. Okay, so now it depends on how you want to name it. You can name it anything you want. I'm just going to name it Croc Group 1. But the reason why I did that too is I'm going to go ahead and select all descendants, Control Copy, Control V. Now I just duplicated all this. All right. So I got more crocodiles, and I'm just going to raise it up a bit so I have it here. And what I've done is I duplicated it, and notice how now it's A2 spawner, okay, camp owner A2, and then now I got 6, 7, 8, and it's kind of a mess here. All right, so what you want to do is you want to make sure you have your your stuff all figured out and what you're going to do. So obviously A5, A6, A7, A8, and I got them selected. I got my spawner selected and my manual spawn point. And what I'm going to do is then I'm going to go ahead and move these. Oops, actually up here, sorry. I'm going to move these to another folder and edit, rename Croc Group 2. Okay, and then what I'm going to change this to, instead of A, I'm going to go B. Okay, so I'm going to change all these from an A to a B. That way I have some sort of naming convention, and that way I know what I'm doing. And if I have an error on the table, I can find them. Okay, and you just gotta go ahead and, like I said, you're gonna have to rename these. That way you have them. So look in here, highlight it, Croc A2. Oops, I think I just named Group 1. I was probably in the wrong folder. Yeah, I can see that now. What the heck? If that happens, all you gotta do is just grab your folder to the top, and then it will bring it down and separate it. So I just named all of Group 1 B1. So I'm gonna leave Group 2 as A. So you're getting the gist of what I'm talking about here, what I'm cooking, what I'm selling. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave these as A, and fix that up. So that's what you do. You just kind of want to organize them and set them up to where you can find them and manage the spawn points, etc. Or if there's any errors on the log table, logbook, in the INI file that's generated, if there's any errors on your server, you can find it, trace it down. Okay. So a good example here. Let me see. I'm just going to take this spawn point, and I'm going to sync this one halfway. Hit play from here, and it should drop him down. If not, to give you an example, okay, so he barely made it. It usually does not happen. Usually a fall. That could be very crazy. So I'm going to put him under the terrain. Let's see what he does now. He should fall through the world. Oh, jeez, I'm getting lucky. It's making me look like a liar. All right, we're going to really stick him under the ground. Because this used to happen a lot. I'll be surprised if he spawned. Jeez, I'm actually surprised. Well, and I think I know why. Because they do have a trace fire, and they must have done something to help correct and offset that a little bit. But what usually happens is there's this red line that shoots down. They actually spawn from the top of the engine down here, and they're supposed to hit the spawn point. But like I said, if that happens, don't put it on the world because eventually it will catch up to you and it's gonna fall through the world. But right now, it's making me look like a liar, which is kind of funny, considering here I'm trying to show you do's and don'ts, and it's making me look like, hey, go ahead, you can do whatever you want. I'm lying. Let me try this. Let me put that sucker way down there, just to see if it's gonna spawn it. I hate that when it makes me look like a liar. It's like, I've run into this problem before. Oh, there you go. No, it's making me look like a liar. Well, I love it. Thank you. Thank you, DevKit. When you have this problem, all right, just remember that Snow Hunter warned you. And you'll be like, Snow Hunter, you were telling the truth. But right now, it looks like the engine's having a good old time making me look stupid. So, probably because I've cursed at it a few times. So, who knows? But yeah, just make sure your spawn point is above the terrain because it will bite you in the ass later. But right now, it's probably because there's not a whole lot on the map itself, so it's able to register and put the spawn where it's supposed to be. But when you start having a crap ton of spawn points and objects in the game, eventually it's gonna mess up. All right, so now the other reason why too, really quickly, we're at 31 minutes for this video. What I want to do quickly is make sure, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of bring these together and kind of pull these because I know these are the spawn points that belong over here. The other reason why we group these guys together is so that, I think that's group 1, right? That's group 1. Okay, so we want group 2. Group 2 is in this folder, croc group 2. This gives you a way to find all your spawn points, but also able to move them around if you need to, or transfer them to another area or location or locale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly transfer this group over here, and obviously I'm moving it to another level. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to bring this group of crocodiles over here. Now, another thing too is you don't want to sit here and create a bunch of spawn points with only one spawner and 4 spawn points. You actually want to create a bigger spawner. The reason why, or not a bigger spawner, sorry, or more spawn points with one spawner is because you don't want to sit there and have to create a crap ton of objects like this to load into an actors. So what we also want to do, so we need to move this to the next level. Right, so I'm going to go to Windows, Levels, and obviously I'm going to make height 1:1, okay? And then remember my wildlife 1:1 I created. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that as the persistent. I'm going to turn off in view and current level only, but I'm going to look for my crocodile group 2, I think it was, right? Yep, group 2. I'm going to highlight all these guys in the spawner. I'm going to right click and go level and go move selection to current level. And it's going to give you this warning. Actor BP camp owner croc A2 is referenced by another actor. Do you really want to delete it? You're not necessarily going to delete it, but what it's saying is when we hit the transfer here, what it was thinking is that when you move this spawner, okay, the green here, the camp owner down here, the camp owner, what happens is that it's saying basically if you move this without this little camp, you're going to break this entry here. So this might happen occasionally where this entry will break. So I'm just going to break it. You got to make sure you just eyedropper it and make sure it's connected. That's all that warning is. It's telling you you're going to delete that entry and you're going to have to reconnect it. But usually it will connect. However, sometimes if you transfer it to another level, it will break that entry and you have to reconnect it. Otherwise, your spawner will not spawn your critters, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just move my spawn points one more time and put them out here really quickly and show you that these guys are working after we just transferred them over. Yeah, that's good. He'll spawn in the grass there. All right, so if we hit play from here, our crocodiles should spawn in. And it should look pretty good. And I'll have to figure out this headset deal, why my sound won't work, why it's not detecting it. It obviously does not like my Bluetooth little wireless headset. Okay, so there we go. We got our Our AI is moving around. And yeah, it's looking good. You know, they're roaming the island. There you have it. And this guy is probably going to be stationary because I left him in guard spot mode. So we got this guy kind of just chilling. So he could be in the grass and the player could be running in and not see it and then get sprung. Okay. So let me go ahead and hit Shift Escape. And I'm going to hit my content folder. I'm going to hit Save All. That way it saves everything that we've done. All right. And saving our wildlife levels. Okay, excellent. All right. So we have that. So obviously I haven't done any work on my map in a while. But that is just to give you guys how to do your NPCs. Now, the human NPCs are the exact same way, but the only difference is on your spawn points, really quickly, on the spawn points themselves, you're going to see an entry for wildlife and human options. All you got to do is hit the human options, and you can use the humans on this entry here, okay? And also, the community override. Now, I'll deal with this later, but I want you to know that this is there, that option is, so that way when the spawn pops in, say you have certain critters that will attack each other, right? But you don't want them to attack each other in a specific area, you can assign an override to where they basically become friends, they're allies, and they won't hurt each other, but they'll hurt the players still, okay? We'll deal with that later, but for now, I just want to go ahead and get the spawn points and the spawner set up. That way you guys understood how that worked. Okay, so in the next video, we will cover. I said we'd probably do the server settings and stuff. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll cover a custom NPC, and it's not going to be a custom NPC, a custom model, or a custom skeleton. What we're going to do is we're going to actually use vanilla base game to where you can edit the hit points, the strength, basically, of the NPC, but we're not going to create a custom, so-called custom with a new model, animations, etc. That's something that's out of my wheelhouse. That would take forever and something I'd have to learn to do, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. But what I can do is show you how to take an existing Conan model, and we can edit that. Let me see here real quickly. All right. So what we'll do is on the next one, we'll cover the custom NPC. Sorry about the audio. I will have to look into that. That was the first time that's ever happened to me where audio just completely zapped out like that. Okay. And yeah, so next video, we'll do a custom NPC, set it up. That way you can say take two skeletons that are exactly the same, but you want this skeleton here to have 2,000 hit points. This guy only to have 1,000 hit points. So I'll show you how to do that in the next video. But like I said, if hopefully everybody's enjoyed this video series so far, the tutorial series, please let me know if I can do anything better, or if there's questions. There's the community chat in the Patreon where y'all can ask questions. I can answer some of those. If not, so far I must be doing a good job where you're not confused and you're catching everything I'm cooking. And everything's going good for you, and your map is doing really awesome, or you're doing really well. So without further ado, thank you guys. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. I apologize for the videos being a little delayed. I've had a little personal stuff come up, and next week I got infusion, so I'm going to try and knock out 2 more videos. That way you guys will have these, maybe 3 more videos, hopefully. So I do apologize for not getting these out as soon as possible. I just had a lot come on my plate lately, and I'm trying to catch up to everything. So without further ado, thank you. Have a good day, good night where you're at. Stay frosty, stay sharp, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.